Hello, my name is Andrea Victoria Leal, and I'm an artist from San Antonio, Texas. I've been working on a special project recently that I really wanted to share with you guys. So recently I've been giving a lot of thought about how I create art and my art style and what I want to do with my art moving forward. I wanted to really create more of a structure or a title to the method that I use. And by no means is this a new method, because plenty of other artists use this technique as well. It's just I wanted to give some sort of a defining name so then people can differentiate it on my channel as to these special art pieces apart from the rest of my art. Now, it's not to say that I don't use this technique on other pieces, because I kind of do. It's like one of my main ways that I create art. But there is a certain series that I want to develop with these particular illustration styles. What is the name, you ask, right? Well, it's actually simple, and it uses part of my nickname, which is Vix, right? From Vixtronic. I call it, drumroll please, I call it Vocal Illustration XLR. Now, if you're familiar with anything in the music industry, you might recognize XLR because it's usually a cable connector for microphones and sometimes lighting. And my whole idea behind it, obviously vocal is like voice or music, and illustration is a drawing, or painting, right, design. And my whole idea was to use XLR to express the connection between the two. Now, my whole method of creating art usually entails me listening to a specific song or genre of songs and painting something that relates to it or gives me a certain feel. And this also includes the mood of the painting and the colors. So if it's based on one song, I'll listen to one song over and over again throughout the entirety of me creating that piece. And it does affect the way that I make decisions, because of the fact that maybe at a certain point in a song, I feel like this jolt of energy or a tempo change, and it could sway me to choose different colors, to add different details in certain parts of the picture. It just helps my brain keep moving forward when it comes to creating a piece. So a lot of times when I envision a piece, it's something based on music, usually. I rarely just think of a piece for the sake of visual representation of something. It's usually always if I'm listening to a song. Now, that song could be from anywhere. It doesn't just have to be K-pop. It doesn't just have to be a certain band or a certain singer. It can be even classical music, any type of music. And the whole idea is just using what I hear and taking in that information and changing it into something visual. Whether it's considered an art style or a method, I'm not exactly sure where it would be categorized. But I do know that the idea behind it, the specific way of creating it solely based on the sound and feeling and mood of a song or music, it's a little hard to explain where I'm coming from with this. And if you're an artist, you might actually know what I mean, as far as feeling and as far as trying to categorize it in your brain as far as art pieces are concerned. I do sometimes create pieces of art based on an idea, maybe from a book or from a poem or something that somebody told me, like an inspirational quote or something. Um, Rarely on a movie. But still, sometimes there might be a movie score that triggers it, right? But then that falls back into what I'm talking about of using sound as art. But as far as other works of creativity, maybe I see a sculpture or maybe I see someone else's painting that kind of inspires me to create a whole piece. It does happen sometimes, but for me, I usually just feel creative when I hear music. And honestly, that's probably partly due to my background. My dad is a musician. Well, he was, and he's retired now, of course, but I do have music very strongly in my family, in my genes, in my blood. It just, it's a big part of my life. And for me, I really do think that music and art are very much hand in hand with each other, because you could listen to a piece of music that someone created because they were inspired by an art piece, and then you go along and make an art piece that's inspired by their interpretation of it, and it could keep going back and forth, right? You know, inspiring each other, or even inspiring multiple pieces of art. You know, again, that does happen. I've done that too, where I'll see an art piece and I really like the colors or the composition or the themes used, and I'll try to think of how to reinterpret it in my own way and kind of use some of that style elements from it. Of course, not directly copying it, because that's not how you do inspiration, right? But you know, basically just kind of following the same mood, like it would fit in the same genre or the same world, right? You know, if you're drawing something of Star Wars, you're gonna draw like possibly a Jedi or the Sith or a spaceship, right? You're not gonna come in and then just draw like a boat or something completely unrelated. You know, you're not gonna draw Star Trek, right? You know, it has to fit within the same realm, right? Sometimes it's the message in the song, sometimes it's the sounds that was used during production, sometimes it's the actual melody or beat of the song that kind of helps bring the art piece idea to mind. Obviously, I do enjoy creating portraits of people, so I do try to incorporate the artist inside of the paintings themselves. But sometimes I'll hear a song from one artist and want to connect it to another artist or another theme and kind of like mishmash them all together, because again, that's how you ultimately create something new. You're taking inspiration from multiple places, whether it be the way a person looks, whether it be a song, whether it be a writing, a painting. It just, all of it together, you can take the inspiration, right, from everywhere and put it together kind of like you do ingredients of a cake, right? And it makes something new, something beautiful. And that's kind of obviously the it's the basic way you make art, of course, how you should make art in general. What I intend to do is create a specific series that is based on this more refined idea of using certain songs and making pieces of art very specific around those themes of the song or the sounds of the song, and creating just for the sake of creating. I think that's something that I tend to struggle with sometimes, because I want to create things that other people will like, but at the same time, it might not always be exactly what I'm feeling I should create. It's kind of weird. Like, I have these expectations for myself in the sense of I should do this a certain way so then it's more appealing to everybody. But when you do that, then it becomes not appealing to anybody, right? So I've kind of had to like really think about it, wrap my mind around that concept, and just create art for art's sake, right? It's to create things that I want to create just because I want to. I want to be able to create pieces that I'm proud of, pieces that really resonate with my ideas and my attitudes towards life, I guess, and really just express myself fully and not worry so much about the nitpicking or the criticism of others, whether that be family, whether that be other artists or random people on the internet, right? And this is something that I've had to really think about and figure out for myself where I stand in all of it. And I think, again, by me trying to define this method for myself, it's going to help me to progress and really and figure out what exactly I want to tell, what stories I want to tell to people, and what issues I want to bring to the light, issues that are important to me, things that I feel very strongly about. And it's very interesting because I am the type of person that there are points in my life where I almost feel kind of like who cares what I have to say, right? I'm just a person in a pond, right? Of a bunch of bigger fish. And at the same time, there's that little piece of me that's like, I really want to say something. Like, almost like I have to. And in that same way, that's how I'm able to kind of express that is through my art. Again, pictures are worth 1,000 words, and it's a lot easier to describe really difficult concepts of the brain and human nature through a piece of artwork. And it's a lot easier for other people to also see it and accept the information and really think about it and give it that extra second of thought that maybe it strikes a chord with them and in some way can actually help them. A lot of people tend to be the type where even if they have problems, they may not always say it to others, but they want advice or help, but they can't bring themselves to really say it. And even sometimes it's just to have someone relate to them, right? On a deeper level, not just to, of course, say, hi, how are you doing? I'm fine. Good. That's great. See you next week. You know what I mean? And I think with art, you can really do that. Somebody can be hurting and see a picture, and it can be so healing all of a sudden to that person and change their entire day, right? And that's kind of the direction I really want to take with my art. I want to create stuff that can be that for people, right? To change their mood and make them feel better. And because that's how I feel when I come across art I like, and especially songs, of course. It's so interesting that just like a few notes can change the way you feel drastically. And so in that same aspect, a few bright colors or even dark colors could really shift your mood or make you feel comforted or make you feel inspired. And that's really where I'm trying to go moving forward. Now, at the same time that I want to be serious with my artwork visually, I also kind of want to get more serious into my artwork musically. It's something that I've put off for like a very, very long time, and it's something where it's kind of a touchy subject in my family. Even though my dad was a musician, right? And it's where it's like, to the majority of my family, yes, we love music. Everybody loves music for the most part. But it's kind of like, oh, but don't get too into music because that could lead you down a bad road, right? And I get that. I understand that, of course. I think it's more of a lifestyle issue rather than the music itself. And that's my personal opinion on it. When it comes down to living that celebrity life and partying, and you get hooked on drinking or drugs or any other types of behaviors that are usually considered not normal, yeah, I do believe that's more of a choice, a lifestyle choice, rather than based on just because you like to write songs. And I do feel that there is some concern, obviously, because if any of my songs were to pop off, I don't know what I would do, honestly. It'd be a little daunting. But I mean, at the same time, I guess I don't feel like any of my stuff is that good for that to happen, but at the same time, I do think I have like some stuff that maybe people would like, and maybe it's something, again, that could inspire them in a different way, just as music has inspired me for my visual art. So then maybe my songs could actually inspire other artists, whether it's visual or any other type. And I heard a quote from somewhere. I really can't remember if it was on Twitter or if it was like a TikTok video that somebody was talking, and they basically said, create art that answers the questions of the artist that you look up to, right? And I thought that was really cool, and I kind of want to create things based on that, whether it's music or visual. And along with that, I also want to create things that aren't necessarily that deep. I also want to create things that truly just like inspire joy and happiness for the sake of being, right? And that kind of brings me to the last aspect that I want to talk about as far as my whole artistry and career and my YouTube channel. I want to rebrand my channel. I want to create it based on themes that are very important to me, and it's ideas that I've had for a very long time coming. I mean, I've been on YouTube, technically this channel, 7 years. 7 years is a long time. And I've had other channels in the past, even before then, and those were more hobby channels. But this one I created specifically to be a professional channel for all of my creative works, whether that be art, music, dance, video games, let's plays, reactions, things of that nature, anything that I can create. Because to me, one of my ultimate favorite forms of art is video editing, and I love putting together the videos. It's just, it does take a lot of time, and I'm not gonna lie, some of these videos, when it's very long, it can get exhausting to edit, but I still love the process, okay? And with life, the way that things happen, it does really, really like throw a monkey wrench into the things when I want to edit more on my videos to give it that high quality look, and time just doesn't permit me to, right? Or something comes up and I have to kind of quickly throw stuff together. And again, maybe to some of you guys, if you're not into creating videos, editing videos, you may not understand where I'm coming from with this, but all my video editor people out there know this side of it, where yeah, when you want to do really epic edits and put stuff together in a way that flows so perfectly, it stinks when you can't do that because of time or resources. It's like, oh, gotta go to my day job and keep living, keep helping people and get stuff done around the house, and doing your day-to-day, and then finally work on your projects. And usually I tend to feel really tired by that point, and I just go to bed. And then the next day happens, and the next day happens, and honestly, that's kind of how my whole quarantine went, right? If you're watching this from the future, hopefully it's not quarantine anymore. But right now, at this moment, we are still dealing with quarantine. Of course, now with the shots, like, we're able to kind of go places a little bit more again, but it's still, trying to keep a little safe, especially in my family, because there are kids living with us and they haven't been vaccinated yet. So anyway, my main point being just there are things that I want to be able to do, and I'm finally kind of at that point where it's like a make it or break it, right? Like, I am like comfortable, I have what I need, I was able to gather the items that I needed to move forward. And also on the social side of things, I was finally able to let go of a lot of past hurts. I was able to grow as a person and to finally focus on my future and to, I don't know, see where this leads me, right? I'm kind of like ditch effort, throwing everything, abandon against the wind, right? And I just want to really give it a good shot, because in the past, I know it should be a running joke by now, all of my videos where I'm like, oh, I'll be back again, yeah, next week and soon, and then I'm like, oh, sorry, I didn't do this, sorry, sorry. That tends to be my default, right? I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to have to be feeling like apologizing all the time, because again, and not to say that I don't want to apologize to you guys. I wholeheartedly do. I do apologize for being so flaky. But at the same time, I don't want to put myself through that, in the sense of the thing that I love is causing me to feel guilty all the time, right? Just because I have poor management skills. Now, I am working on this. I am really, really trying hard to figure out how to kind of loosely schedule. I can't fully give myself a hard schedule, because my brain, the minute I say schedule, it has like such a bad connotation for me. My whole life, it's always been a bad connotation for me. So I'm trying to like do it but not do it, like in ways that help my brain to accept, yes, okay, I'm able to move forward. I'm trying to use ideas like calling it a habit, or nonchalantly doing the same thing again the same way, right? Like, I know it's crazy, but for whatever reason, I have a hard time sticking to those types of things, right? And that's where I am really truly working hard on that, so I can work on my art again. And it's such a weird catch-22, because the thing I enjoy, which is whether it's creating art, creating music, creating in general, right? It's something it makes me really happy, but my brain's just like, no, you can't, you don't deserve it. Like, just rest. You're tired. Just, you don't have power. Why do this thing? It's going to take energy even more, right? But that thing is the very thing that's going to help me not feel horrible, right? And I'm trying to get out of that, right? Out of those patterns. I'm trying to just do what I like because I like it, right? Just because. Like, why not? It's kind of like when, you're like working on something and someone says, hey, you want to go grab some food? And you're like, yeah, I'm hungry, like all of a sudden. And it's like, sure, let's go. And it's kind of like that, the spontaneity of it. And I'm trying to cultivate that again back with the things that I enjoy, so then I can continue my progression as an artist and not feel so bad and feel so guilty or like there's this giant weight on me. I want to continue to make things better. And so I guess at the very least, I can promise that I won't ever just ditch my channel, right? Like, I'll let you guys know. If I'm like, oh, I'm done, I'll let you guys know. Like, seriously. But if I happen to, like, disappear for a bit, it's not that I'm not gonna come back, unless I get, like, seriously, like, hit by a car or something. It's basically just, I'm trying to promise those who've stuck by me all this time. If you are a subscriber that has been watching me for a very long time now, I thank you so much for the support, and I promise you I will keep going until I actually say that I'm gonna stop. But I don't want to stop. Like, it really, really is something that, like, I want to continue doing for as long as I can. Okay. Unless there's some major thing, unless YouTube shuts down, unless, everything, blows up or something. I really do want to continue moving forward with my channel and making it as good as I can make it with the resources that I have. And I'm seriously going to try and put more time and effort into the quality of my videos. As I said earlier, I do want to rebrand, which means things are going to be looking a little bit different on here. Not by much. If you've been kind of following how the progression has gone since I started, it's kind of like headed in a certain route, so I think you can probably guess where it's gonna go. But as far as meaning and themes, I do have a very specific meaning for it, and I'll probably make a separate video on that, explaining why I've chosen to rebrand and again, all the elements and themes behind it. And that'll be a fun video. But for now, just keep an eye out for when I do change it. And I sincerely hope that my channel has provided you with some happiness and comfort, especially through this pandemic, because things have been so crazy. And I just want to thank you once again for all the love and support that you give to me. And I'm really looking forward to not only having my channel grow, but also growing as a person together with you. So I guess that's pretty much it. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. And if you want to see more crazy random goodness, then feel free to subscribe or click the links at the end. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see y'all later. That I find very, very important to me, and I want to... Why do I talk like a robot?